Have you ever found yourself facing the inevitable emptiness of existence, the knowledge that life is fleeting and that we are left to navigate this vast world with little certainty of what comes next? What if there was a way to face this truth head-on without fear, without despair, and even with a sense of peace? This question sits at the heart of two seemingly distinct traditions, Zen Buddhism and existentialist philosophy. Though Zen and existentialism originate in different cultures and contexts, they share a profound exploration of the human condition, addressing the nature of suffering, freedom, and meaning in life. In this video, we'll examine how Zen, with its emphasis on mindfulness, non-attachment, and the nature of the self, intersects with the existentialist ideas of philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus. We'll explore how both traditions tackle the human struggle for meaning in an absurd world, and how their teachings can guide us in confronting existential crises with clarity and calm. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel, where we explore profound philosophical and spiritual insights to help us navigate the complexities of existence. If you're ready to uncover the deeper truths of life, be sure to subscribe and join us on this journey. At the heart of Zen Buddhism lies the practice of mindfulness, awareness of the present moment, and the teachings on emptiness and non-attachment. Zen emphasizes that the world as we experience it is fluid, impermanent, and constantly changing. The concept of suchness, or tathat in Sanskrit, in Zen refers to the true nature of things as they are, without the distortions of our thoughts, desires, and preconceptions. Zen teaches that suffering arises from our attachment to things, our possessions, our identities, our beliefs, and our desire to control outcomes. The mind, driven by ego and desire, clings to transient objects and fleeting moments, believing they offer lasting satisfaction. But Zen shows us that this attachment only causes suffering. The key to overcoming suffering is non-attachment, which does not mean detachment or indifference, but an open-handed acceptance of life as it unfolds, without clinging to any particular outcome. This Zen perspective aligns deeply with the existentialist viewpoint, which posits that life is inherently uncertain and without preordained meaning. Just as Zen encourages letting go of attachment to transient phenomena, existentialism suggests that individuals must create their own meaning in an otherwise indifferent universe. Existentialist philosophy, particularly as articulated by Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus, is often associated with the absurdity of life. Sartre's famous assertion that existence precedes essence implies that we are born without inherent meaning or purpose. Instead, we must create meaning through our actions, choices, and engagements with the world. Camus, in his work The Myth of Sisyphus, grapples with the question of life's meaning in a world where suffering seems inescapable. He argues that life is absurd, filled with contradictions, and ultimately without inherent meaning. Yet, rather than succumb to nihilism or despair, Camus proposes that we can embrace the absurdity of existence. By fully acknowledging the meaninglessness of life and continuing to live authentically and passionately, we can transcend despair and create our own purpose. Sartre and Camus both argue that we have the freedom to choose how we live, despite the often painful awareness of life's absurdity. This radical freedom is both empowering and burdensome, as it comes with the responsibility of creating one's own values and accepting the consequences of one's choices. Both Zen and existentialism recognize the unavoidable nature of suffering. In Zen, suffering arises from attachment and the illusion of permanence. We suffer because we want things to be different from how they are, whether that's trying to hold on to a fleeting moment, resisting change, or wishing for a life without pain. Zen teaches that by recognizing the impermanence of all things, we can let go of our attachments and reduce suffering. Similarly, existentialism confronts the harsh reality of suffering in an indifferent universe. Both Sartre and Camus acknowledge that suffering is an inherent part of existence. Sartre's notion of bad faith involves living in self-deception, avoiding the pain of freedom and the responsibility that comes with it. Camus, meanwhile, speaks of the absurdity of life, where suffering arises from our search for meaning in a world that offers none. However, Zen offers a way through this suffering. mindful acceptance. By embracing the present moment without attachment or resistance, we can transcend the emotional grip of suffering. This act of acceptance is not resignation, but a kind of freedom. A freedom to live fully in the present, without the constant anxiety of what comes next or the regret of what is past. Existentialism also offers a form of freedom, but it's often more intellectual and existential in nature. Sartre's philosophy centers on freedom of choice, the idea that we are free to create meaning and make choices in a world that offers none. This freedom, however, comes with the burden of responsibility. We are free to shape our own essence, but this also means accepting the consequences of our actions. In Zen, freedom arises from letting go of the desire to control outcomes and accepting life as it is. This kind of freedom is rooted in non-attachment, allowing us to move through the world without being enslaved by our desires, fears, or past experiences. Authenticity is another central theme in existentialism and Zen, though the two traditions approach it differently. In existentialist terms, authenticity refers to the idea of living in accordance with one's true self, free from societal pressures and external expectations. Sartre argues that most people live in bad faith, meaning they act inauthentically by conforming to roles and identities that society imposes on them. To live authentically, one must face the painful reality of radical freedom and the existential responsibility that comes with it. Zen offers a slightly different perspective on authenticity. In Zen, the self is not a fixed entity. The concept of the self in Zen is illusory. It is not something permanent or inherent, but a construct that arises from our thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. By practicing mindfulness and non-attachment, Zen practitioners learn to let go of the ego's need for control and self-definition. Authenticity in Zen is not about finding a true, unchanging self, but about experiencing life as it is, free from the distortions of self-centered thought. Both Zen and existentialism ultimately urge us to live authentically, to face life directly, without delusion or avoidance. For Zen, this means being present with life as it unfolds, free from attachment. For existentialism, it means accepting the responsibility of creating our own meaning and living in a way that reflects our truest values, despite the absurdity of existence. Both Zen Buddhism and existentialist philosophy offer valuable insights into the nature of human existence. While Zen teaches us to let go of attachment and embrace the impermanence of life, existentialism encourages us to confront the meaninglessness of the universe and create our own purpose. Despite their different approaches, both traditions emphasize the importance of freedom, authenticity, and facing life as it is, with all its challenges, contradictions, and fleeting beauty. By integrating the mindfulness and acceptance found in Zen with the freedom and responsibility articulated in existentialism, we can develop a deeper understanding of the human condition. Whether through Zen's calm acceptance of impermanence or existentialism's courageous confrontation with absurdity, we are offered paths to live more fully and meaningfully. Thank you for joining us in exploring the profound intersection between Zen and existentialism. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel for more content that delves into life's deepest questions and philosophical wisdom.